Hello, I'm Mike Bellamy, author of The Essential Reference Guide to China Sourcing and owner of PassageMaker Sourcing Solutions. I've been living in China full-time now for over 12 years, and it is my pleasure to offer in this 2-minute video some tips about how to evaluate Chinese suppliers. In an earlier video, we talked about how to narrow down the list of potential suppliers from a few hundred down to 5 or less. At this point, you contact the suppliers and conduct what's known as the RFQ, the Request for Quotation. Their feedback should allow you to further narrow down the list to only, say, 2 or 3 top suppliers based on pricing and non-pricing attributes. So the next step that we'll cover in this video is how to validate that the suppliers are legit. In my opinion, there's 2 types of verification. Type 1, factory audit. This is to verify that the supplier has a quality control system in place and that they have the production experience to supply you with the goods they say they can make for you. Type 2 is an operational audit, sometimes called due diligence. Now this is to confirm that the supplier has a good reputation and is financially strong enough to stay in business long enough to compete your order. In other words, they're not going to disappear with your initial payment. Now, there are service providers who are very professional and can conduct these types of verification at reasonable prices. I highly recommend you engage professional support if you don't have the skill set in place in-house to audit factories on your own. Email me if you would like me to introduce you to these third parties that I've used for verification. But for your reference, here are some other tools you can use on your own which complement the work of these third-party service providers in terms of verifying suppliers. Number 1, it doesn't cost you anything to ask these suppliers for references. If a supplier can't give you a few happy clients to visit with, this is a big red flag. 2, confirm that you have the right to visit the production site and check on your order once production starts moving. If they come up with a bunch of excuses why you can't visit, it either means they don't have the ability to produce your product and are scared that you won't like what you see if you visit the production line, or it could be as simple as they are a trading company and are worried that you will cut them out of the supply chain once you realize they provide very little or no value. Speaking of trading companies, sometimes, especially if your order is small, it may make sense to use them. But I hate trading companies that say they are the factory when they are really just brokers. Number 3, it doesn't cost you any money and it's so powerful. Ask to see the supplier's quality control manual. If they don't have an ISO compliant and well-written, documented system in place for how to make a given product, then you should run away. If you want to see what this type of quality manual should look like, you can check out a sample at my website, www.psschina.com. Now, having verified that your suppliers are legit, the next stop and our next video deals with negotiating the price and then moving into production. See you next time. Wishing you successful China sourcing.